Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday. Woo. That was a half pound of hamburger helper in probably about 6 minutes. Man, that was tough. I did it for you all though. How is everybody? It's a beautiful Friday. We're alive here again today. Brought to us by Walrus. We're together by Tusk. How's everybody doing? Thank you for tuning in. Sadly, there's not going to be as jam-packed of updates as there was last week. So apologies for that. People with the holidays around have been very difficult on their times. Just to narrow people down. So it makes it difficult to advance any kind of development on Glacier. But I've obviously been working on just like outlining a lot more stuff in the documentation. There is a new documentation that's about 65% complete. We're just waiting on mathing out some of the stuff in Python. And so it just takes some time, and I'm okay with that. I hope everybody understands that. I think for the most part we do. The only people left here in DeFi right now anyway understand the necessity for building and how long it takes. So it's just one of those things that we have to get through. So, yeah, let's start with Walrus. I mean, every market's tanking pretty bad right now, huh? We had 18K Bitcoin and then right back down. Now we're at like, what, 16.7, 16.8? You're muted, you dumbass. You dumbass. You're muted.
Well, I'm glad you said so. I just been talking.
I knew you were, because you're still muted, and you never start muted like that. And I was like, oh, I bet he's going to sit there and talk like an idiot. And you.
I was yelling at fucking Willow. She's running around like a lunatic.
Yeah, so Bitcoin dropped to 16.8 after a big 18 drive up. I was like, whoa, that's pretty big. But everybody called it the Santa Rally. I think people just psyops themselves into a TA. But regardless, we're back down and probably will be until at least, towards January or on before we see any kind of breath of life or a trajectory that looks like it could hit an all-time high ever. Yeah, it's tough to respect me without the stash. I'm sorry. I almost shaved everything off except for the stash. I left it. I looked in the mirror and I was not happy with the person I was looking at, so I had to shave off the mustache too. I think wrong lever. I think you're right. I think we're gonna have consolidation between like 15 to 20K for like the next 3 to 4 months at least, and just it's a trader's market. You can make money in it, I guess, if you know what you're doing. But I tried it. It's just pretty much gambling with more steps. Yeah. So been an exhausting day here at the Lame Hillbilly household. So sorry if I'm not super peppy today. But so some of the information that we have for Glacier is that the things that we're debating on right now is how the emissions will be centered around. And there's a couple different options for what we're going to do for emissions. One of those being a similar emission scale that you see on like Beats or Balancer or any other FarmDex token where it exponentially decreases into a level that it's barely sputtering after a certain X amount of years. We actually talked about doing a different type of emission schedule where swap fees replenish the reward contract, therefore boosting APRs and allowing it only to drip out. Say it's a static 100 million Glacier in this pool, it drips out 0.1% daily. But if we have high volume, a lot of Glacier would be bought back and put back into the reward contract, so it would then increase the amount of yields that get dripped back out. It's almost like a really cool recycling effect that takes place. And obviously, if there's not a lot of volume on the Glacier token or ecosystem, because it would be on all pairings, and it would just recompound back into the reward contract and again on high volume days. And then we'll also have a certain percentage that burns Glacier, just so that we can start cutting down and making them worth as much as possible. There's also a big difference in the weighting for Alpha Glacier and Delta Glacier, and I had been speaking about it wrong. I didn't realize this, but Beats, when I did like a deep dive, I forgot to talk about this last week. Beats specifically, and this is what we're starting with, is that it has more of an X sushi feature where you actually have governance with X sushi. So there's probably going to be something like Alpha Glacier, Delta Glacier. It's not lock staking. It is going to be like where you can convert back out of it. So it would be like an A GCL and a D GCL, and you can convert back out of them, but it would have an independent indexed value that goes up over time. As far as I know, that is how the governance feature will work. We're thinking of giving Alpha Glacier, the single stake, more emissions, higher APR as a single stake, but the 60-40 higher governance, so that if you're sitting there making sure that you're the exit liquidity on the market, that we do give you higher governance in the features of Glacier in the future. So, how's that sound? Pretty cool.
Fuck with it.
And then also a certain percentage of the emission scale has to go to specifically the governance boosting. So historically, you see around 30% of the 100% of the pool. So just in reference, Glacier has 109,500,000 Glacier tokens in the LP farm pool. 100% of those, you could look at it right now, 100% of those 109 million would then go to all of the LP farm rewards. But you have to set aside some of that 100% to give out and allocate week over week for the boosted pool that wins the governance vote. So, it could be a Glacier pair, it could be a Walrus pair, it could be some other ecosystem token. That is something that we have to consider. And then also Glacier points will have its own emission. And again, you don't know much about it, but I am writing it in the docs. So when the new docs are released, you will understand what Glacier points are and what they do in the ecosystem. But a certain percentage of that has to go. So right now we're looking at about 70% to LP farm rewards, 20% to the boosted pool for that week, and then 10% for Glacier points. And that's kind of how we're dividing up all of the emission scales. So that's what we're thinking of right now. I have a meeting actually after this AMA for marketing. I'm talking to a new marketing team that I think could potentially kick ass for getting us some partnerships, getting us in front of multiple people, and running multiple social media platforms in an engaging way to get more people joining in. So we're also talking about that. Just reading some of the chat. No, it's not going to get guilds. I don't know. Why would we get guilds.hack?
Well, I think he means like the boost wars and stuff. So it could kind of be like,
oh yeah, like
guilds.
Really, the participants of Glacier governance. Hopefully, there is boost wars for new protocols that we're listing through the launchpad. Whatever else may be, that we have those boost wars start getting engaged. We'll actually set up through our treasury. We'll have like some kind of bounty rewards for people that boost specific Glacier pairs, and then. Hopefully other protocols also, like Walrus, we can set aside some of the trading fees potentially and have a bounty for people that vote for our governance and have a claim feature for people that voted for it. That's realistically what we want to see start happening because it really gets that protocol involved in the future of Glacier and therefore caters to it. And you're not using Glacier just as like we'll host our liquidity on Glacier. I mean, you can do that, of course, but now it's more of, well, let's fight for governance on here as well. And that gets more protocols engaged, and it turns out to be a much better process, I think, for DeFi in general than the current AMM structure. Let's see, what else do we have? I have another meeting with Mark today, hopefully tonight, actually, after the other meeting I have right after this, where we're going to talk about the test net, and if it's launched on the test net, hopefully it is. He was delayed a little bit. But once I find that out, then I'll start taking snippets of our front end working on, a Beats test net version while we're tinkering with all the different emission scales and stuff. Walrus Anglers Club, if you don't know, tomorrow there's a big event for a hydro well and a Ace Miners NFT that everybody's presenting, plus some Walrus Anglers Club mints. You do have to have a Phase 2 Walrus Angler Club mint to technically be considered for it. But I won't be there. I'll probably have I have a family event we're going to with my whole family. We're shopping for Christmas here in Kentucky. So I won't be there, but it's actually pretty packed right now, and I hope it's a big turnout. And I'm trying to do more for Christmas and to give away stuff. It's just been hard. I've been really focused on Glacier, so anyway, that's what I got. I know everybody's asking about nodes. It's a long process I got to work with LB on. You have to pretty much stop deposits. Then you have to look at who all has, what the claim amount was and how much is left over. Put that as a percentage. Whatever's left in the contract, you then have to divide that up evenly. So it's just going to take just a little bit to get done of releasing these nodes. So don't stress too much. Hopefully that does get some of the Walrus soaked back up, though, and we can put that in X Walrus. We are currently almost at 90% X Walrus, which is insane. So congrats to us. But yeah, we got any questions? I know it's not going to be a jam-packed AMA, so I'm sorry. I wanted to come with more information, but I just didn't have it. And sometimes it's going to be like that week over week. I do currently have 7 VC investors. I do have a new pitch deck that I can't upload here, actually. It's already in the docs, so it's not leaking anything. This is going to be public information anyway. So you can check that out. If you want to be a VC investor, of course, contact me. I think we have 7 or 8 slots completely filled, and we're looking for that extra. There's only a total of 15, so it's a small raise, but it is tough to raise any amount of money right now. But again, I heard somebody say that we'll just do a better deal if this doesn't go through. Look, if I have 7 NFTs and that's all I get before launch, then I won't take any more VC funding, and I'll just work with what I got. So I'm pretty happy with that. XKK, you are going to be in Kentucky? Uh-oh. What part of Kentucky?
Would nodes be converted to X Walrus by you first?
We can vote on it. Realistically, I'll give Walrus back. I don't want to tip the boat too much. I'm okay with giving out Walrus to LP noters or X Walrus. It doesn't matter to me. Why are y'all all coming to my? Y'all are all trying to find me. Oh shit!
Fucking feds. We got feds. To be a Kentucky person. Fort Knox is a little bit away from us. Actually, we won't be too far from there. Saturday. We had a community member just join earlier this week. Crypto Gamer was bringing up. Guy's name was Cartel. He was kind of wondering what our plans were with repegging Walrus, and I gave him the general overview of X Walrus. But do you want to mention here kind of like how you see Walrus and X Walrus working out?
Yeah, so what I see and again, this could all not play out in the favor that I want it to, but what I want to see out of giving X Glacier the utility is that Walrus is an intermediary and is a lot easier because it's not as focused on, the peg is not as focused on, that it can hit peg just naturally by being a low cap coin and a very small supply, constantly being locked up by X Walrus, and then you can make X Walrus liquidity. And then you can earn off of those trade fees between Walrus USDC and then X Walrus USDC. You can then stake your X Walrus USDC for some of that, and then some of it will be burned, of course. X Walrus and Walrus being burned by those trade fees. But by doing that, what we can do is stop incentivizing X Walrus from Walrus share and give all of that back to Walrus and other ecosystem tokens. So hopefully we can get some liquidity in Walrus. But also, I think that, with it being more focused on X Walrus and the utility behind X Walrus, and you have to convert into it, and it's an ever-raising price, hopefully it allows some sustainability in, Walrus over time. And it's not supposed to print once every day. It's not supposed to print 10 times a week. It's supposed to print very moderately, and that's what we should want. It's a hyperinflationary token. We should take it slow. But if you can earn on it at 10, 15, 20, 30% APR, whatever the trade volume is, I think that's a great utility, and it really builds a narrative for a DeFi version of these tomb forks without centralization. We obviously still have to work on Narwhal, and we have to give Walrus Share its ending utility. What can we do with Walrus Share? Can we stake it and earn some of the protocol revenue fees? Whatever it is, we do have to find that narrative for X or for Walrus Share as well. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I see it playing out now. It could not. But I mean, X Walrus has been taken to very greatly, in my opinion. I mean, 88% of the entire Walrus supply has touched that contract at some point. That's insanity. I mean, 1.3 million has touched that contract. That's crazy. And we still have really good liquidity. So
actually, wouldn't it be 1.6 since 330,000 has been burned?
That Walrus shows how much Walrus was converted to X Walrus. So it just uses that metric. It doesn't use it. Part of that 1.3 million is the 332.
Gotcha. Okay.
Would be cool though. But no, that's not how it's backed in. Yeah. Some of y'all carry me with some questions, please. We know each other well enough. I can have dead air. I've said it before. Y'all carry me. Dylan, how much is your Trump NFT worth? I heard 1.8 ETH.
It is now at 1.25, but I've only got the one now. Now it's at 1.3. I sold one for what I paid for both of them, plus a little bit more. I'll share my Trump NFT. Look at this guy. There he is.
There will be, Mickey, there is going to be a, I can actually tell you the name of it. Those will be released in the new white paper as well. All of our emission, how much emission percent each pool is going to get, and all of the pools. But I will tell you what the pool's called. Owen, help me out with the names. The pool is called How Much a Dollar Cost, and it's going to have USDT, MIM, USDC, and probably DAI maybe, and we'll likely do some type of allocation for this.
All right. Thrak wants to know any narwhal change of sentiment or found new purpose for it yet?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna gamify it with potentially dropping down peg to a portion where I know we can focus on it and hit it based on the liquidity that we already see, and then per 20 epochs, per 10 epochs, whatever it is, we'd have to reformat the boardroom. We have to relaunch a new boardroom, which is fine. It's not really a big deal. It's not a big task, but we'd have to relaunch it, and we'd have to make sure that it can go up. And so what I want to do is if we hit it for 10 epochs or 20 epochs, then we boost it up 5 cents and boost it up 5 cents and boost it up 5 cents each time we hit it. And then maybe if it doesn't hit it for 5 to 10 epochs, we drop it back down 5 cents, so that it's always tinkering. It's like a I mean, it just kind of has a mind of its own. It's no longer like a tune fork algo, stable or whatever, but it is tokenomics that could gamify and get people collectively saying like, oh, we could actually, if we increase this 5 cents, well, then other people may try and buy into this, and so I automatically get price appreciation by buying it now and holding it, because it could be 35 cents. If it's 30 now, it could be 35 cents in the future, and that could be the metric, and it could keep going up if I'm a team player. So that's kind of what we're thinking on for Narwhal, which would mean that it would be already pegged with where I want to start it. So that would be really cool to start back with another token that's already pegged. I understand that it could get dumped. But I mean, that's part of the game. We can go all the way down to 5 cents if we want, or up to 100 cents. Whatever it is, dynamic peg is a great way to put it, Thrak. But yeah, we would give Walrus Share instant utility of being able to obviously start printing Narwhal.
All right. XKKX wants to know, haven't been here in a while. Can you explain the purpose of Glacier?
The purpose of Glacier is to cultivate massive TVL for the Avalanche chain, become a very integral member of the Avalanche team, and make a staple of our products and show that we're serious about Avalanche and being a builder on it. And it's also a way for us to own our own liquidity through our own decks, and also allow for different weighted pools, governance features, some unique features that we haven't listed called Glacier points. There's a ton of things that we're going to be able to do with Glacier launch pads, being able to stake your Glacier, being able to burn your Glacier and have utility in the token itself, and try and find a way and a happy medium of having a farm token that can actually develop into a way that people want to purchase it, instead of farm it and dump it. Hopefully that answers your question.
All right. Waifu Hunter in YouTube. He's in Discord and YouTube. I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody. What is your intent with the Walrus Treasury? Do you have any new metrics to keep to prevent it from dumping back so low? As in, do you have a future plan for how Treasury will be used to keep Walrus up in these bad times?
Yeah, I mean, great point, and great question. So obviously our treasury is pretty depleted at this point with actual stables. Once we actually get revenue, and we can actually cultivate some of these NFTs for the actual treasury, and allow us to earn off of that yield, and then also Glacier to some extent will be able to provide some type of revenue for Frozen Walrus Treasury. We'll have a better management plan and what we want to do with it. But right now, the goal is just don't spend it unless it's like something for the actual protocol, lawyer fees, whatever else, just for upkeep of the protocol. But right now, Beyond has invested in Spaceship X, one of our partners. He's been doing very good in that. And I think we're up about $1,000 off a $4,000 investment. And that's pretty much it. We just don't want to put our money anywhere and just try and have some longevity to it.
Anybody else? Discord,
like
YouTube?
Another question.
I answered both of them. Can you walk us through the next miner setup phase? I know they're coming in next week. How long till you start seeing your KDA flow in?
So Ace Miners has to help us with the setup process. I talked to Sean the other day. I mean, I don't know if there has to be boots on the ground technically, but someone does have to stand these miners up. But realistically, when we get them in, it should not be very long at all, like probably a day or two before they're stood up, and we can start earning. I can give you all the KDA wallet that it'll be going to. Then you all can start tracking it. And then, of course, the next thing we're budgeting for with the Walrus Anglers Club is to build a dashboard so you can see per NFT what you're getting. So that's what we're thinking right now. But yeah, everything looks good for maybe seeing them next week would be awesome. So that's kind of the hope right now. Oh, that's cool.
That's sick.
Looks like some kind of futuristic vending machine.
When will nodes be given out? Lund, we talked about it a little bit earlier. LB's going through it right now. It's hold on, I'll just give you the answer we gave earlier. Nodes require stopping the deposits, checking claim amounts, making a percentage of total of what everybody needs, and whatever's in the contract will get distributed evenly. There's a ton of back end work to it, but we are working on it.
What was the issue with Binance? Somebody said something about CZ and Binance was getting not the most recent FUD, but what happened like today or yesterday?
It was the audit company that Binance and a bunch of other centralized exchanges. I think I saw Kraken and maybe crypto.com, but they stopped doing crypto audits. They will no longer be doing that. So they deleted the proof of reserves for
The
Binance.
one they just did for Binance?
I guess so. And people weren't happy. And then CZ did a horrific interview on MSNBC or something where basically the woman, like the anchor lady, like pretty much bullied him, made him look like a little kid. It was sad. I didn't like it at all. I was uncomfortable the whole time.
What the
She kept
hell?
rolling her eyes like really aggressively.
Dude, I'm telling you, mainstream media doesn't like they are being pushed right now by financial institutions to keep crypto down. It is a good bottom sign. There's no way they're going to
It's
stop it. So I mean, be a part of it or don't, but don't pussy out because somebody
oh
had a bad interview.
old Kramer. He was yesterday or the day before yesterday. How could anybody be nervous about Binance than today? I'd rather put money in DraftKings than Binance. So I don't know if I should short it or long it. I don't know anymore.
If Jim
I'm
Cramer
just
says
happy
it,
there's
you need to do the opposite. That's what I've learned. Jim Cramer is a goofball, man. But I think it would help
follow
to
up.
put a goal for certain TVL levels. This could help the FOMO kids in retail have something fun to stare at. Maybe a Walrus party at 10 mil TVL. I mean, that was always the plan. We were a mil short from the Walrus TVL party, but realistically, I just don't think there's enough liquidity in the market to start making people FOMO in via us being able to see how much TVL we have right now. So I think it's just it's one of those things that our TVL is going to be where our TVL is at until we game enough of Walrus off the ecosystem that there is a huge price surge or something when Glacier releases that allows the spark of Walrus and the greatness that it used to have comes back into play.
And then SN Lund had a follow up question. You say the amount will be balanced out. So for me, with a low amount, would get more out of it, or is it me not getting what you mean?
No, so like if you had 20% left of the claimed amount of all of Walrus LP nodes, then however much Walrus LP we have in there, you would get 20% of it. So it's the amount that you have in that pool. It's weighted out very mathematically. It's just a simple thing we have to do to weight everybody out to make sure that everybody gets a fair share, considering what they've put in, how much they've claimed. So that I think that explains it a little bit better. Makes sense to FUD BUSD. That's the obvious reason BNB is dropping. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. Obviously, anybody with a half a brain cell that watched the interview did not say I should short BNB because it's going down. And and like CZ said, if Binance fails because of one person, then it was never geared for success anyway. But he said that about FTX. If it's contingent on one person,
That was contingent on a polycule.
yeah, Disco Chuck, that is correct. Swapfish. I'm not familiar with that. Let me look that up real quick. Wrong lever. Have not heard of that.
I'm not answering what a polycule is. It's man-made horrors beyond your comprehension. That's where I'm leaving that at.
It's on Arbitrum, of course. Arbitrum's really been getting a lot. Looks like a DEX that is literally a pancake swap fork. Oh my god, it is literally a pancake swap fork. Holy shit. Well, good for them. Legitimately, just a pancake swap fork. Wow. Man, people will put money. It's crazy, man. It's just all about the chain that you go on. Sometimes Avalanche just does not have the hype that like Arbitrum and all these other L2s and big L1s that get like Binance and stuff. It's crazy because I love Avalanche so much. I think it's such a fast network. I think it's really great. Arbitrum's obviously a really great network as well. So good for them, Swapfish. Good for you guys. But yeah, that makes me kind of hype.
It's on. What chain did you say, Arbitrum?
Yeah, Arbitrum.
Isn't that where Trader Joe's going to?
No, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Wrong lever. Thrak, if you know, you know. FW is a bomb money fork. If you know, you know. Not so savvy. Any more features you can alpha for Glacier, like limit orders, recurring buys? A lot of these UI UX details, those are things that I want to add in very fast. Some feature lists we have to scale out on some kind of timetable so that we can build hype over things over time. Something like limit orders and things like that, just so that we have the bare bones out in public, allow people to stake and have all the core features working. And then, of course, Glacier Points will launch with Glacier. But yeah, let me see if there's any that I can release that maybe isn't known already, that's not giving away too much. I mean, we are having optimized strategies that Owen talked about recently, using magic farms as, like a back end contract wise, that allow you to really customize how your auto compounding works, and also makes it work in favor of the protocol. The default option on the website, maybe you can compound straight from the website automatically, but Magic on the back end is doing a bunch of things that benefit Glacier more than it does, a normal auto compounder. So that's one of the things that I'm excited to see be implemented UI UX wise, so that it's like a one-click auto compounder. Yeah, Tampa, that's pretty good. Stop loss would be awesome. I would love to add these features. And these are all things that, of course, you want on every DEX. But with it not being a baked-in feature to Beats, then it's one of those things that I have to prioritize. Is this the most important thing, or do these things need to be implemented first? And that's where we're at right now. Yeah, Mickey, you said, how much TVL should the protocol have to get noticed by the Avalanche team? It's a good question. They don't oftentimes look at TVL metrics because TVLs can be kind of pushed. Like you could be having like auto leveraging that like wrap stuff in. And there's a lot of ways you can game TVL. Realistically, they're looking to build with team members that are serious about DeFi and that want to be a part of it via Avalanche. I don't think that they care how much TVL or what your credentials are. I hope. But yeah, Dylan's been working really hard on getting some good connections. He's been making some pretty good connections so far in Twitter. And then we also, like I said, I'm talking to a marketing firm for Web3, specifically for the first quarter of Glacier's launch, about doing all of the Twitter, Medium posts, maybe even some videos, all baked in before launch, which would be great.
Will there be Glacier beta testing?
I think so. I think I may open up beta testing before we do an official release, maybe via the test net, just to ensure that we can really get a stress test, and maybe before we start advertising, because realistically, I'm going to advertise once everything's ready to deploy, and then give us 2 to 4 weeks of marketing. But if I do that, then of course I can start allowing maybe like Walrus OG members to start stress testing it for me and finding some small features or bugs, which would be really cool to have you all as helpers for that. Are we going to audit partner projects before listing farms and pools on Glacier? We will have some type of process so that we're not just listing any bullshit ones for like partner pools or anything that we're going to be pointing Glacier emissions to. I don't know how stringent it will be. It's not detailed yet. It'll probably be some stuff that I'll have to get my lawyer involved with just to kind of make it a little bit more safe for anybody that we're taking serious.
Are we looking at doing a game in the future with the NFTs?
Would be really cool. I just don't know that we'll have the funding for it with what we're planning on doing with the NFTs. We'll have to see. I mean, that's probably far out if it is. We really want to focus on the utility of the NFTs.
I'd love to do a game. I mean, AVAX is the gaming chain.
Dot Hack said, "Can I be hired by Walrus to be added to the multi-sig?" No.
I'm not even in the multi-sig.
I don't trust a lot of people. Nah, Dylan just doesn't need to be on it because there's really no need for him to be on the treasury.
Well, we talked about it. Remember
He'll probably be on the treasury of Glacier because we're probably going to have like 5 to 7 members of the team on that one.
We before we launched, we talked about putting me on the multi-sig, but we decided it was a bad move if 2 of the 3 signatures
that was the main thing, is like the nepotism behind it of him being my brother.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the look of that, so I wanted to keep him off of it just for like a optic standpoint.
What do you mean? Fiat buys.
What do you mean there? Not so savvy.
Oh, on ramping with your debit or credit.
I've already contacted CrossMint. We got kind of far, and I was like, "Hey, can you list Avalanche so that my members can use debit cards or credit cards to purchase these NFTs?" And then they just didn't respond to me. Maybe I can actually check right now. I'll check on their website because I was gonna set it up. Let's see if they listed Avalanche. They did not before, so.
Mickey Murrah, are you planning to take advantage of the Anglers Club's NFTs to increase returns on glaciers so we would have 2 utilities?
Hold on, let me do this first. Let me just do this real quick. Yeah, Dot Hack, that comes with a lot of sketchiness to allow that. Not saying we can't, but it would have to be via third party. But yeah, that would be pretty cool. Enable credit card payments. All right, let's go to collections, new collection, and let's see if they've added. No, they only have Solana, Ethereum, and Polygon, so it's not currently available through CrossMint.
Solana had another $7 million rug today.
Oh, yeah?
FYI. It was Radium. Multiple liquidity pools on Radium. The account has received thousands of SOL in the last few minutes. We advise withdrawing any liquidity on Radium.
Yeah, we'll probably link up.
Sad.
with a third party to do some kind of fiat on ramp on Glacier just to make it easier for people that come in, because I plan on having a lot of tutorials on how to get into DeFi, so that we really market like ourselves as a one-stop shop for DeFi, and allow people that don't know anything about DeFi a very easy onboarding experience. We actually have something planned where me and Dylan, I'll probably get dressed up in my turtleneck and all my all my cool streetwear suit, and then sit down in front of Dylan and let him ask me some questions from his perspective on Glacier, and maybe do like an hour or 2 hour long like AMA session about all the intricate features of Glacier, and speak about it in more layman terms, so that everybody that wants to know anything about Glacier can really get a full piece, and maybe we'll chapter it out so that everybody can understand and learn what Glacier is and what it can entail.
All right, Mickey wants to know, are you planning to take advantage of the Anglers Club's NFTs to increase returns on Glacier so we would have 2 utilities?
Again, the DEX has to be contingent of success on itself, not bringing in, third-party ecosystem tokens. I know that it seems beneficial to do that, but I promise you, realistically, the growth that it would hinder on Glacier would be, massive to us over the longevity of Glacier. And I think it's necessary to have a successful DEX that then heightens the visibility of the Walrus payers. And I think, same thing for the NFTs. If we do something with NFTs, maybe in the future we can give them special access to something, but using them outright to do something beneficial in Glacier, it really cuts yourself off at the foot. They're like, why? Anybody that comes onto this brand new DEX and they see, why are they supporting Walrus so much, or why are they supporting Walrus Angler Club NFT so much? It really cuts you off at the legs before you can even really get them. So there's that MoonPay. Yeah, that's what I was actually going to look at, was MoonPay. But Wire, I think I've always heard, is really good. But yeah, I would like to use one of those to on ramp.
All right, SN1 wants to know, do you have any things in play to avoid big whales from investing and pulling out within X amount of time, making people panic sell again?
No, I don't think there is anything you can do for that. There's realistically nothing unless we started putting taxes on our tokens, which I'm heavily against. There is nothing you can do to stop people from selling. I think the only thing you can do is educate your community. We haven't had some whales playing in Walrus for quite some time. So I don't see them getting in until there's a certain price point where we're close to peg, and then they can flip it. But at that point, again, it has to be user sentiment, whether they want to hold it or sell it. I don't think that we're going to combat whales ever in the DeFi ecosystem, and I think people that have tried have just, longed the
losing battle.
They just prolonged the bad experience. If your protocol goes down, it gives opportunities. If your protocol stands on its own, it gives opportunities for people to buy lower. It's absolutely a necessity for whales to play in these DeFi ecosystems. It allows liquidity. It allows visibility. So you can't have best of both worlds, or what do they say? Have your cake and eat it too. So just keep that in mind. Thank you, Mickey. I appreciate what you are doing. I really believe in your team. In fact, I invest in teams and not in projects, and I appreciate that a lot. I plan on doing a lot of great things in my career in DeFi, and I know it's been a long time that I feel like I've been in this, but realistically, it's not been. I'm not a fully matured, DeFi career yet until it's consistent, and I've been here developing and hitting metrics, month over month, and hopefully Glacier and Walrus allow me to do that. What else we got? How long have we been going?
45 minutes.
Oh wow, we really made it.
Yeah. No, that was a good one. We had some good questions tonight.
Got my baby water, boys and girls. Make sure you're drinking your baby water. I got some new creatine pills. Dylan, check these out. Well, I'm not gonna pull them up. That's too much work. It's supposed to be better than monohydrate though. I'm trying to get back in the gym. Dylan's supposed to be bringing.
Oh, are you?
Dylan's supposed to be bringing me gym equipment. I haven't started.
So are you ready to get back into it?
Yeah, man. Is the baby water fake this time? Yeah, it's just it's bottles of water that I've poured in here.
It's just one hydrogen and one oxygen.
Yes. Oh. Well, guys, I'm sorry I didn't have more information for you. Hopefully, I was able to answer everybody's questions. And something like, oh, I get that Wells is needed, but if you look at something like Drip, where it's taxed and the taxes is paying the people holding, SN Lund, I'm going to give you my honest opinion. Drip is a complete.
Isn't Drip going to jail?
No, they're not doxed. That's a complete pyramid scheme. I don't enjoy the referral code aspect of that. I think that there's absolutely no way that that's not a pyramid scheme. And it works off the back of other investors. It's realistically what you're doing. I'm sure that may upset some people, but I'm just speaking from my own experience and what I invest in. And I don't want to take anything from Drip. I'm doxed. I'm publicly doxed. I have to work with a level of integrity that he doesn't technically have to, which is cool. If people invest in that, that's great. I hope you make a shit ton of money. But again, absolutely nothing you can do about Wells. If Wells want to exit, what are you going to do? You can make them sell only 5% of their stack a week. Then that stops like 90% of the Wells from even investing right there. You can tax them 20% on sales tax and put a 0% buy tax. Promise you, people are still going to sell. It doesn't matter, right? Realistically, if they hold the token, then they're going to hold it. If they choose to sell at a certain price point, then they're going to choose to sell. If they get to a certain threshold where they've lost too much money, they will also sell. That is every investor, not just Wells. But I get what you're saying, SN Lund. I'm sure there is mitigations that you can take. Again, though, like for me, it's an integrity thing. Some of the measures I could take just don't feel to be in line with the integrity that I've brought forth so far. SN Lund, I'm not saying that he's not successful or that the protocol is not successful. I'm not claiming that whatsoever. I just don't think that there's a lot of integrity in running a pyramid scheme. I don't think anybody can disagree. By definition, that is what that protocol is. There's all kinds of Ponzi-nomics in DeFi, but strictly allowing groups of referral codes to be packaged together and through influencers and everything else. Just own it. That's what it is. But it doesn't mean that you can't make money or that there's not successful pyramid schemes. Like, don't get me wrong. Good for him for having 136 million TVL. I hope he has a ton more success. This is just my point of view, SN Lund. So, I hope that makes sense. Thank you guys again for coming in here and being a part of the community and again attending the Ask Me Anythings. We actually had a pretty big turnout, 11 viewers on YouTube and 17 in the Discord. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope that you have a fantastic week. The next time we speak, it's going to be time to put our Santa hats on because it will be the 23rd. But we may end up doing that on the 22nd for Thursday. And that is strictly on a, I can't remember. I probably have family events on the 23rd. So I probably just need to make sure I take that day off as well. And I hope that you all do as well. I hope everybody takes some time off and spends some time with family, religious, not religious. Everybody can get behind spending some family time together. So, yeah.
Saint wants to know if you could go back to one point during this year, would you change anything and what would it be and what would your high point have been?
I would have never have launched the PCP campaign.
Yep.
Would have been the number one. It drained our treasury from trying to deal with sentiment. That's what this business is, especially in Two Forks. It's just sentiment based, and I got scared and I made an amateur mistake of looking for an answer when there wasn't one, and I just did the best that I could, and that was the PCP campaign, and then I had to make it whole.
Just like Two Forks, when everybody does the right thing, everybody makes money, but unfortunately, we don't live in a world like that, and people gamed it, so people lost money, mainly our treasury.
Yeah, I mean,
People that invested made money.
The Treasury lost about 400,000, but altogether, and I say lost, but realistically, that was making other investors whole.
Redistributed.
So it was given back to you all. I think again so far I've totaled about $1 million in givebacks, which is awesome. I'm happy that I was able to do it. Yeah, high note. I think when we hit 8 million TVO, and there was just so much strength in Walrus, over 2 million liquidity, over almost 2 million liquidity in Walrus share. I think that was the high point, right? I think that was like when I was like, oh man, this is realistically like a very good product that I've given people. We've built this amazing community, and it feels really nice to finally break through that and launch a successful project. That was probably my high point, and I still think that Walrus had a ton of success. I think that if you weren't taking responsible profits, you're probably more burned than others. But I think most people could have made money in this protocol from being here from day one. I truly believe that. It just really depends on how you make it. And I've always been transparent about that. But great, it was great. So let's see. I guess that's it, guys. We're getting close to Glacier. We're getting close to the new year, 2023. And I'm excited to start a new year with you guys, and maybe we'll do some kind of live stream for it. But again, I appreciate each of you that are in here, that are watching and still supporting. Glacier will come out, and it will be jam-packed with features, and it will be hopefully wildly successful. I am doing everything in my human body to make that so. So I hope you guys see that, and I appreciate it. And I just want to end the stream by saying, do something positive, with your life, and try not be a negative person, even though it is always the easiest path to be negative, to shit on others and to be, somebody that you learn to hate. So try and be positive and have a positive outlook and touch on other people. Do something nice for somebody else. I don't know, walk a grandma across the street. It sounds pretty good. I would if I was there. Ask for some consent though. You never know. You just never know. So make sure you ask her before you do it. Feed a homeless person, preferably with meals that you didn't cook probably. But it still goes to show you. Touch snow, not grass. Now probably to some of you all up in the north, we haven't seen any. Yeah, Dot Hack. Best of luck with that, my brother.
Don't you dare punch kittens.
All right, guys, that's it. And I will see you all next Friday or Thursday. We'll probably just go ahead and set it for Thursday. Let's do Thursday.
You want to do Thursday?
Yeah, we'll do Thursday at 7. Be the second time that I went off schedule, so I apologize, but it is the holidays. Thank you, guys.
And for Thursday.
Have a wonderful, 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 wonderful weekend. See you guys.